Our top story today brought to you as always by Piggly Wiggly over in Neely's Mill here in Columbia. Be sure and get through there for their delicious daily deli lunch or dinner options, as well as their hand cut meats, and everything is cost plus 10% at the cash register. Piggly Wiggly in Neely's Mill in Columbia, bringing you our top story, and it's a doozy. Every sports media outlet in the free world has this, but I'm looking at an article on CBS Sports. Scotty Scheffler arrested while trying to enter Valhalla release before round two of 2024 PGA Championship. Um, the number one player in the world was detained outside the golf course Friday morning following a chaotic incident. Apparently there was a vehicular accident that involved a fatality near the golf course this morning. And as a result, traffic was predictably chaotic, for lack of a better word. Scotty Scheffler trying to get to the golf course apparently had some issues with some of Louisville's finest, eventually wound up being charged with assault of a police officer, third degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding traffic signals from an officer. Those look like they're in reverse order, maybe. But detained at 6 a.m. Eastern, booked around 7:30, released on his own recognizance at 8:40. Arriving at Valhalla about a half hour later, he changed, ate breakfast, and eventually visited the driving range about 30 minutes before his rescheduled 10:08 Eastern tee time, in which he promptly proceeded to birdie the first hole. And what's the latest, Wade?
Latest I've got, Scotty is 4 under for the day, 8 under for the tournament. He's in sole possession of fifth place. So despite a crazy morning, is coming out and playing pretty well, it looks like, and at least right now is in the top 5.
A fatal accident involving a tournament worker being hit by a shuttle bus occurred outside the venue before Scheffler arrived. That slowed traffic near the entrance to the golf course and delayed the second round by an hour and 20 minutes. Scheffler, in an officially marked PGA Championship vehicle, was driving toward the golf course when a police officer stopped his car. Scheffler tried to enter the property after a confusing and chaotic exchange, according to ESPN's Jeff Darlington, who was actually on the scene. That's wild. The officer attempted to attach himself to Scheffler's car, per Darlington, at which point Scheffler stopped at the entrance and began following instructions to exit the vehicle. As he was complying, Scheffler was reportedly pulled out of the vehicle, shoved against it, handcuffed, and detained. So, interesting chain of events, to say the least. And obviously, I don't know that we know everything that has taken place, and we may not know everything that has taken place for some time, if ever. But that's just wild.
Yeah, crazy situation. And I wake up this morning much later than Scotty Scheffler, and
Much, yes.
It was a crazy ordeal, as obviously very tragic with the situation, obviously with the loss of life there.
Mm-hmm.
But then things just get out of control and just wild as Scheffler. I got a number of different questions. Number one, I found it interesting that he was driving himself. I guess maybe didn't want to inconvenience anybody. He said, hey, to my driver, no need to get up that early. I'll just drive myself over there. But I found it was interesting. He was actually driving. And then the other crazy thing is that they had the delay at the event. If that delay had not occurred in regards to the tee times, I'd be really curious what would have happened. You're potentially looking at him obviously just having to forfeit or withdraw from the tournament. So it's crazy how all this worked out. And there's even video. You mentioned Jeff Darlington's got video right there on the scene, which is pretty wild. He even caught some loose commentary from the officers who didn't, shocker, enjoy him being kind of right there in the mix.
Mhm.
But as wild as that was, there's also video of at least a couple of guys. I know Will Zalatoris and Cameron Young. The traffic got so bad at some point for them, they actually just got out of the vehicles they were in and they just walked to the entrance about half a mile. So kind of a wild situation this morning. Obviously, I assume we're going to learn a little bit more as soon as Scotty gets done with his round, although his attorneys I love this line. Where did I see this on The Athletic here? His recently hired Louisville attorneys, obviously you just grab somebody in a pinch there. They're probably not going to release too much details, but his press conference is going to be wild as soon as he comes off the course here. And as we mentioned, playing well, comes out birdies number 1, bogeys number 2, but then also follows up with a birdie on 3. So he's dialed in today. He's 5 under for the day now. He just hit another birdie, so he's technically tied for second at the moment. He is the number 1 player in the world, and when he kind of gets dialed in, they say that he takes it even to a higher level. And you think this would go one of 2 ways, and it clearly looks like it went the other way. A ticked off Scotty Scheffler is not to be trifled with, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, again, he, like you said, he's definitely dialed in. He's definitely focused. He's 5 under on the day. I am perplexed by this line in Jeff Darlington's tweet. The police officer attempted to attach himself to Scheffler's car.
Yeah, that's the one that's tripping everybody out, right?
Was it really that critical to get him stopped?
Yeah, I mean is he like
dramatic much?
Is this officer, just are they just hopping on the car and just hanging on for dear life saying, you better stop? Or
how fast was he going even? I mean, it feels like all indications are that he was there was traffic. I mean, how fast could he go, but
unusual to say the least. And the other crazy part, producer Mark just pointing this out, the craziest part about all of this is we've just talked. The craziest part about all this, and kind of like I lost you there for a second.
That's okay.
As Mark pointed out, Virgil has told us a couple times that Scotty is the squeakiest clean guy on the planet. And he's almost so squeaky clean, as dominant as he is, that he's kind of boring for golf. And I don't think this was a part of any new PR campaign to try and get him, a bad boy image, because that seems a little far-fetched even for him. But, man, very odd that the number 1 player in the world who's got this crazy clean image, you'd wake up and hear that he is arrested. I mean, I did like a triple take when I read that this morning.
I literally woke up and saw this. Yeah, it's really bizarre. And obviously we'll be paying attention to his post-round press conference and what happens over the rest of the weekend and beyond with this. But it's eye-catching to say the least. Let's go ahead and take a break here from the Lee Company Studios on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. When we return, we'll be joined by Nashville Sounds play-by-play voice Jeff Hem. Stay with us after the break.
Bluegrass Auction Associates is hosting another real estate auction Saturday, June 8th at 10 a.m. in the beautiful Hickory Woods subdivision. This spacious estate offers numerous amenities, perfect for the homeowner or investor. Conveniently located in Davidson County, Tennessee at 221 Wild Grove Court. This is the sale you don't want to miss. Join Bluegrass and bid with confidence. Saturday, June 8th at 10 a.m.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We couldn't think of anybody better to join us, and we're proud to bring in our next guest. Virgil Herring is a multi-time TMPGA Teacher of the Year. He's an author. He's a golf guru, really, by every stretch of the word, and he's also the host of On the Verge podcast, and he joins us now. Virgil, I just got to ask you first and foremost, how surprised should we be that Scotty Scheffler wins his second green jacket? He delivered an outstanding performance, but should we really be shocked after what we've seen out of this guy the last several years now?
I would say that we're not shocked at all. I mean, if you look at the analytics, his proximity to the hole is as good or better than Tiger Woods in his prime, and he is definitely a better driver of the golf ball than Tiger Woods. The difference is that Tiger Woods had a high level of spectacular and artistry in him, and Scotty Scheffler's a little bit more vanilla. But my goodness, does he deliver at what it takes to be great? It is as good as it gets.
I heard somebody say it going into the tournament last week that he's the best ball striker or best irons player, maybe however you want to phrase it, that the game has right now. And really the only hole in his game is his putting. And if he is putting well, it's pretty much game over. But, man, he was hitting some amazing iron shots, so I'm inclined to believe that. But it seems like his putting was there all weekend long, Virgil.
Well, if he doesn't lose any strokes, there's a stat that the PGA Tour covers called strokes gained putting, and it's just a statistical breakdown of percentages. If he is just zero, he's not losing. And when he doesn't win, he's like losing 1.4 strokes putting. But if he is putting neutral, it's over. And I think he had positive strokes gained. And I predicted that he'd win by 4, and it just so happens that he did win by 4, and he put on a clinic. And I think that everybody knows that, much like when Tiger was in his prime, if Scotty Scheffler plays well, everybody's playing for second place.
Yeah, and kind of the way this is unfolded here now for Scotty, we've seen him have such great success. He's still a relatively young guy. I guess immediately I wonder, is he in his prime, or is maybe his prime still yet to come? Are we entering another kind of potential Tiger-ish type run for this guy in your mind, Virgil?
I think so, but I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to that, right? I mean, he's now going to go into his next major, maybe not have played in a golf tournament. He's expecting his first child. That's the only thing that matters to him. He's a very religious guy and a very family-oriented guy. I would say there's a really good chance he doesn't play a tournament until the PGA Championship. So now you're dealing with rust. You're dealing with life rust. He may not be as sharp as he could be going into Valhalla. But my guess is if he drives it any kind of way he drove it at Augusta National, and it's Valhalla, albeit a great golf course, is nowhere near as difficult as Augusta National. I mean, I'm talking nowhere near as difficult. He could piece it together. He'll be a threat, but whether the 4 weeks of rust will take its toll, it's possible. But at the end of the day, once he kind of reacclimates himself to his new life, I think he's got at least 10 more years of potential dominance, because he's got a big frame. He doesn't really overexert himself in his golf swing. It's not violent. Mm-hmm. And he hits it unbelievably straight and long. That's the recipe for longevity. That's for sure.
You know, Virgil, you mentioned that Scotty Scheffler is as good now as Tiger was in his prime. Data Golf updated their list of the top 200 golfers at the best. Who was the best at their best over the last 3 decades? And Scheffler passed Vijay Singh for the number 2 spot. 2004 Vijay Singh, trailing just now September 11th, 2000 Tiger Woods. And it's not by much. And it's pretty impressive that he's been able to do that, coming off of winning back-to-back Players Championships. I mean, it just seemed like it was all set up for Scotty. Now, on Sunday, he probably wins by more than 4 if he doesn't get off to a semi-shaky start.
Yeah, and once again, he admits that he misread the wind on 1 and misread it again on 2, causing 2 really offline shots. His short game was really critical to his success. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you're playing with history on your backpack. Who knows how well he slept? He's got his wife and potential child on the way. He's got a lot of stuff in his mind, and right now when he's winning, he's thinking to himself, how do I not blow this? He's trying to figure out how to get off to a steady start, and really what he wants to do, and that actually ended up working out perfectly, was he wanted somebody to go beat him. And when you're trying to play aggressive at Augusta National, rolling the dice all day long at Augusta National to try to catch up, that ain't going to work. And it showed again. It was almost eerily similar to 2019's Tiger victory, in which everybody was forced to do something. And as soon as they had to do something, they fell apart. And the golf course, and especially the conditions they played in, which was pretty severe, that led to, the leader, which happened to be Scotty Scheffler, could just kind of coast and let's see what others are doing. And slowly but surely, Morikawa makes 2 doubles in 3 holes. Homa hits it over the green up into the weeds. Oberg hits it in the water. And next thing you know, there's really nobody left. And then with that pressure off, he hits so many close iron shots starting from hole 9 in that it was over. And it was a beautiful scenario for Scotty Scheffler, that's for sure.
Talking with Virgil Herring of On the Verge podcast, breaking down this weekend's Masters. And Virgil, we kind of led off obviously with Scotty winning, but you mentioned Oberg. I think a lot of folks come out of this tournament thinking, number one, I didn't know a lot about this guy. Number two, I'm thinking, man, he seems like he could be fun to watch. But I loved what you just said, and I hadn't thought about it until then. It does kind of remind me of what happened in 2019, because everybody else, Scotty played great, but it seemed like no one really on Sunday especially gave themselves a real shot to try and put themselves to put the pressure back on Scotty down the stretch.
And I would also say the combination of the conditions and what the Augusta National has done to lengthen the golf course took away a lot of the eagle opportunities on 13 and 15. We didn't see many of those. And whether you like that or not, that diminished the opportunities to make big scale gains on somebody. You know, a 3-shot swing is not that uncommon if somebody eagles 13 while the leader makes a bogey. You know, we've seen that before. But in this particular case, Scheffler hit a very nice iron shot in on 12, and nobody could take advantage of the par fives, partly because of wind, partly because it was too risky, and it worked out perfect. And once again, I really think there's going to be plenty of chatter after we stop celebrating Scotty about whether we think that lengthening those holes made it more exciting or better for golf or not. I would say not, but we still got the best champion.
Virgil, we're also contractually pretty much obligated to mention Tiger Woods obviously made the cut, which was so fun to watch. And Chris and Mo and I were in studio on Friday, and we kind of all fist pumped when we got that news. Throws up an 82 on Saturday, and then obviously followed up with a 5 over 77 yesterday. Did we learn anything about Tiger Woods other than, man, this guy is just really having to gut and grind just to even finish 4 days of golf at this point in his career?
I think that the fan who watches golf every major championship only learned that, wow, Tiger Woods still swings at it beautifully. He can't walk the golf course. And, you know, wow, how Father Time's winning. But when you're a person in the industry, there's a combination of just being able to watch that great golf swing and reminisce on all the legendary things that he did. But I really also think between the problem that we have with the PGA Tour and LIV and the divisiveness of the game, Tiger's taken an ambassadorship role of trying to carry the PGA Tour as pertains to viewership and popularity. I think he's sacrificing his body a touch to do his role to keep it going, because I'm here to tell you the PGA Tour is in big trouble. And if they don't figure something out, and golf itself is in big trouble, I should say that. But if they don't figure something out, people are stopping watching. Scotty Scheffler might be as good as Tiger Woods, but he doesn't have the flair and the charisma and the wow. That doesn't make Scotty Scheffler a bad person. Right. It just means for eyeballs and dollar signs, Scotty Scheffler is vanilla. I mean, solid vanilla. I mean, just as good as it gets. But he's going to give you how much his faith means to him and how God's his caddy. And, you know, that doesn't sell compared to the fist pumps and the chasing down his 4-iron with a look of dominance. Like, that sells. And what Scotty Scheffler does should, but it doesn't sell.
Yeah, great comparison. As we're getting ready to chime in here.
Well, yeah, you know, I just think that you're right, and in that you have to have. It's still entertainment. It's still sports entertainment, and it just is what the golf can be fantastic, but there is only a certain part of the golf watchers who are watching for that. It's much like NASCAR. There are a lot of folks who watch NASCAR for the passing. Most of us watch it for the wrecks. Most of us are watching, you know, are watching sports for the excitement factor. And when the most vanilla guy on the course beats the crap out of everybody else, it just makes for a boring Sunday. It just does. And so I did like what you said about Tiger's swing. And I'm curious because I think we're 2 years away from his ability to play on the seniors tour. I don't know that he'll ever play there, but if he did, you know, they let him have carts there. I'm just saying it might be over for the seniors.
Yeah, I think that his goal is to play and play actively. And I think that, you know, deep down inside, you know, for all the greatness that Tiger is, he's pretty one-dimensional. He's a golf guy. He doesn't have any other thing that really kind of occupies his interest, you know. And I think that he wants to compete until he literally can't compete anymore. So I expect him to go out there, and I expect him to absolutely run away with it going forward, especially when his number one competition is now barred, which would be Phil Mickelson.
Boy, that's you know, and as a guy who grew up really enjoying the Regions event down in Birmingham, and you know, you see the Pro-Am event, that place and every other place like it will be just jam-packed, and that might be what gets some folks back into golf. Who knows?
It's definitely going to give a shot in the arm of the Champions Tour, and how much it does for golf will only show up in a subtle way as it builds goodwill and the other things that it does on a slow mover for the Champions Tour. But as long as he still competes in the major championships, and as long as golf is divided like it is right now, I don't care what anybody says. Right now, there are only 4 events that count because it's the only 4 events that the best players in the world play. And if they don't figure that problem out, golf's in gigantic problem.
Yeah, Virgil, talking with Virgil Herring of On the Verge podcast. I was just getting ready to ask you, what is and you kind of answered it a little bit there. What's the big picture takeaway, especially for the casual fans after this tournament? It was just fun watching everybody get together between the 2 tours. And I guess I'm curious, where do we go from here? Is there a big kind of big takeaway in your mind for the 2 tours, and obviously where we go in terms of ratings and things of that nature?
Well, I mean, what you're dealing with here are 3 groups of people that 2 years ago thought they were the most important person in the world. Jay Monahan, the PIF or the Saudi fund, and this group of people that are the SSG, the first big investors of the PGA Tour, which is the owner of the Boston Red Sox, the owner of the Falcons, and a handful of other minority owners and other sports teams, right? So they all, like, you're putting in billions of dollars into something. You're not looking to also give up control. So when you have the guy from the Red Sox and the Falcons, they put in $3 billion. They're not going to want to do an agreement with the PIF and give Yasser the total control over it. And I'm not sure after what happened in June of last year that they want Jay Monahan to control anything else other than whether they choose Popeyes or Chick-fil-A for lunch. That's about it. So to me, the big problem is who's going to be in charge. I don't think anybody truly wants the Saudi money to be in charge of the tour, but they would like to have the Saudi money to elevate things and make it a better production and make it more entertaining. I can understand that, but that seems pretty interesting if you're the one that has the endless pockets like the Saudis do, to think you're going to take a back seat and who's making the calling the shots. And it's just basically a gigantic ego fight on who's going to have control. And I don't know if it gets done. And I think the bigger issue is not whether the PGA Tour can agree with the PIF. The bigger issue is going to be the Department of Justice okaying it, because there is a lot of things in that hearing that they had where the PGA Tour got absolutely smacked upside the head with where their money's going. And they also don't like the idea of a country that is now linked to how the Twin Towers fell, the Pentagon went down, and the other plane went down over 9/11. I don't think they want to have that, even though they're already taking their money in a multitude of ways. Now putting it on a billboard would make it a little unsavory. And I think the DOJ is going to be the biggest hurdle on this, and we'll see. But I think that there's where we run into problems. A lot of the best players took the money and run. And the apple cart could completely fall if Rory McIlroy decides to take $850 million. If Rory McIlroy leaves, let me tell you something. The PGA Tour is in a world of hurt. A world of hurt. They need Rory almost as bad as they need Tiger Woods. And they hung Rory McIlroy out to dry last year. And I guarantee you, part of why he's struggling, the part of why he is so angry, why he's kind of acting off, is he got exposed and humiliated. And now he's out there representing a brand that humiliated him. Yes, he's making a ton of money. Yes, he's chasing history. But he got humiliated in front of his brethren, and he didn't like it. And I personally think he's torn between, he doesn't need $850 million for sure. He knows he's still chasing history. And history is where the PGA Tour is. The future is where the live is. But $850 million and a chance to stick it to somebody that hung you out to dry, they're competitors. They're kind of like assassins or snipers. Somebody took a shot at them. I will not be surprised if he takes a shot at them back. And although he said he wouldn't do it, how many of them said they weren't going to do it? Other than Phil, all of them said, I'm not doing it. And then, oops, I had 800 million reasons to do it. So that's what's going to be interesting going forward, for sure.
Yeah, I love the way that you laid that out, Virgil, as the PGA is the past and the present, but LIV is kind of that future that you could kind of see. It will certainly be interesting to see how these current guys kind of navigate that and how golf kind of adapts going forward. And we certainly appreciate you joining us today, Virgil. I know it was a busy weekend for you, but we always love having you on, and we certainly look forward to chatting more golf with you here again very soon, my friend.
It's always an honor to be on. Anytime you need me, I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Virgil. We'll see you soon. That was Virgil Herring of On the Verge podcast, longtime golf presence here in Middle Tennessee. Chris, I could do a lot with $850 million.
Yeah, I could do if you just leave the zero off.
I could do a lot with $850. How about that? Today is tax day, by the way. So just pointing that out there. But Virgil made a great point. I mean, the future of golf is interesting. And number one, there wasn't a lot of
whatever future there may be.
Yeah, whatever future is going to look like. But you had Scotty running away with it, which no one likes to see a runaway anyway. But he doesn't have that pizzazz. He doesn't have that kind of quote unquote swagger, bravado about him. And that doesn't lead to the casual fan really getting too fired up, it seems like.
No, it was a rough Sunday for golf. A great Sunday for Scotty Scheffler, and obviously his dominance on the back nine was just. If you like golf, you enjoyed watching him just be near perfect. But other than that, it was a tough day. But that's part of it. That's something. When Tiger won by 11 strokes, everybody enjoyed it, but it was because he did it with flair and did it with excitement. And oh my God, did you see what he just did? And Scotty's just hit it straight, hit it close to the pin, tap it in. It's boring, but it's effective.
Yep, he certainly made it look easy.
$12.6 million he's won in the last 35 days.
That is bonkers.
35 days.
Yeah, what did I see? I saw a stat that he's thrust himself into the top 10 of the all-time money list for sure, and I think he's already up to like maybe even sixth.
He's 27 years old?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And kind of a weird situation. Great guy, elite competitor, fantastic player. But as we say, all that may not move the needle. No one's ever going to move it, I don't think, as much as Tiger Woods. But Scheffler is kind of the guy right now. And so they tee it up. RBC Heritage is this week, but the real big next big tune-in for the sport of golf is going to be May 13th through 19th. As Virgil told us, they'll be at Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville for the PGA Championship. U.S. Open is in mid-June this year over at Pinehurst in North Carolina.
Wild horses are coming to Franklin. The Mustang Heritage Spectacular. 4 days of celebrity freestyle, liberty training, trick riding, and extreme Mustang makeover. Plus the shopping. Over 100 vendor spaces with clothing, food, home goods, and things you can't find anywhere else. All that and celebrity signings at a music stage too. June 20th through 23rd at Williamson County Ag Expo Park. Don't miss a moment with a weekend pass. MustangHeritageFoundation.org for tickets.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to Nashville Super Speedway.
That's right, guitars and fast cars right here in Music City. This summer, NASCAR is back at the Nashville Super Speedway. Get your tickets now to watch your favorite driver take on the 1.33 miles of concrete chaos. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to lock in your spot June 28th through the 30th for the Ally 400 race weekend.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers, putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Henry County won baseball and softball yesterday, a combined 42-0.
On Jackie Robinson Day.
Oh, wow. How about that? That is remarkable.
That is a lopsided scoreboard, to say the least. Hats off to Henry County yesterday.
How about
Mercy.
the Patriots? Man, goodness.
So much buzz about Caitlin Clark, of course. Rookie of the Year, is that a slam dunk in your mind, or is there a lot more that maybe goes into that, and it's not just a shoe-in as a lot of folks might assume?
I mean, I love prognosticating with you guys. I would be
You've been on a heater with us, so
if and this is not a huge stretch here. If she stays healthy throughout the season, I can't think she will not be Rookie of the Year based on talent. I mean, listen, you could say there'll be other factors, what she does, just what she's going to bring on the court. She will be Rookie of the Year.
And juice. They basically reveal. I mean, the roster is set. I mean, this is going to be the Olympics team, and okay, let's just go through it. Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anthony Edwards. All right. Bam Adebayo. Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes.
Devin Booker. Joel Embiid. That's an interesting name,
Mm-hmm.
right? Anthony Davis. Okay. Jason Tatum. Interesting choice. Kevin Durant. Okay. Steph Curry. And LeBron James. If LeBron James is one of the best 11 players in this country right now, I will streak down West 7th.
Is he one of the best American players?
Right now.
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
I'm going to need to give me a little more on this.
There are at least 5 other players that I would put on this team before I would have LeBron James on. LeBron is old. He doesn't play defense, can't play defense, and certainly can't do it for an entire basketball game.
But it was a little scary to me when I read the quote from Redick where he says he just closed his eyes at the end. I know these guys are great drivers. That's a little shocking for me to hear that he said he was just doing whatever he could right there at the end to get the win, which was obviously so impressive with Jordan in attendance there.
Well, anytime you go through those wrecks, the cars are so close, it's 100% luck whether or not you make it through that. So eyes open, eyes closed. I don't know that it makes that big of a difference because it's just like instant reaction and then pray that you make it through because cars are going everywhere. So, I mean, yes, I don't think his eyes were actually closed.
Right.
Maybe they were, but I mean, I think just a reference to there's just so much. in that there's a lot of skill to driving on the super speedways, but once the wreck happens, it's a lot more luck than skill, which is why you see guys that are very good at these places, often get caught in a wreck because there's nothing you can do about it. That wreck with the Toyotas I talked about had two of the better super speedway drivers get caught up in Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace. So, sometimes there's just not a lot you can do other than, close your eyes and pray.
You mentioned Brad Keselowski.
Really just losing their mind over seeing this guy do this at the AAA level, particularly when the Pirates are doing what they're doing at the major league level.
And the other key distinction in all this is Paul's trying to get to the big leagues, obviously, for a variety of reasons, but not the least of which is he's kind of number 2 in his household right now because his girlfriend, Olivia Dunn, is touting that LSU gymnastics national championship. And old Paul is saying, hey, I'm proud of you and all, but
I'm doing a little something over here too.
I'm doing a little something too. And Paul's probably saying, hey man, I got to get that call up stat because I'm a decided number 2 in my own household right now. So he's trying to get that call up sooner than later for a variety of reasons.
You talk about you're catching it from Cubs fans. Paul's catching it from Olivia, huh?
And she's got millions and millions of social media followers that are probably saying, hey Paul, you're good and all, but look what our girl's been doing here. So he's got some work to do to catch up.
Another power couple in
line, and I think producer Mark's got the clip. The Preds fans were quick to point out that the formerly known as General Motors Place, now known as Rogers Arena, built in '95, but the seats resemble that of a 1995 Buick LeSabre that was found at the bottom of a rock quarry. So the Preds fans have done their homework.
Those seats are in the midst of being replaced. A friend of mine reached out to me to let me know and actually shared that meme with me. So Vancouver is in the process of replacing those seats. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I went to the closing ceremony in Vancouver. I don't know if it was held there. I did watch the bronze medal hockey game there. So I don't know if it was in the BC. Hey, I just followed the guys and the group that I was with go watch those things. So, but yes, Buick LeSabre, that's kind of an apt comparison. Those seats, I might bring my own seat cushion or plastic wrap to, like when you take your car to the dealer to get cleaned or, service, just so I don't have to sit. Those seats have been through a lot. They've seen too much.
I just saw the headline to the Lease Company Studios for the second hour.
Real quick, Mo.
Well, go ahead.
I got to throw them in while I can because we were talking about the Astros and how bad they've been in a quick episode of Petty Wars. I saw this tweet last night, and you'll know where I'm going with this in a second. But Petty Wars, it caught my attention. Somebody posted a video of St. Louis and Busch Stadium, and it does not look very full by any stretch. It does not look very happy by any stretch. And this person says, I'm just sad for the fans and for the city. Never seen the park so lifeless. And then the tweet that resonated with me is somebody said, well, this is actually funny because St. Louis has had this reputation, as a big baseball city. But
hashtag BFIB, best fans in baseball.
But maybe, as this tweet points out, maybe they just hadn't had a team below 500 in the last 20 years, and now they're just in the muck with the rest of us. So just something to think about. And that's today's quick episode of Petty Wars right there.
Come sit over here with us. There we go. Absolutely. This year's banquet is set for July 20th at Omni Nashville downtown. And have you completed the rollout of the class?
We haven't. We have one more. We have one more to go. Yes. And if I tell you why we haven't announced that inductee, you may come close to figuring out who it is. So I'm not going to delve too deep into that. But it's a biggie, and it's one that we're excited about. And this whole class is one that we're excited about. Chris Burke, we just announced him a couple weeks ago on SEC Network as he and Dave Neal were calling the Tennessee LSU baseball game. Chris Johnson, Tennessee Titans 2K, CJ 2K, really excited. He's part of the class. Scott Hamilton, Scott, it's funny because Scott and his family have lived, in the Nashville area for close to 20 years. And really kind of what he means to just giving back to the community of skating. It means so much. And this is the 40th anniversary of his gold medal in Sarajevo. And it's just, it's incredible that is all kind of lined up.
As you said, the fish are likely to be flying. I have seen at least one friend on Facebook looking for a catfish. So, and Teresa set the over under at 3, I think, when we had her on Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to watching that.
What I can tell you is Mo, as much as I'll be there tonight and as much as I'd like to toss one, I don't think my arm is strong enough from where I'm going to be sitting. So I won't be. I would love to bump Teresa's numbers up and, really make a profit out of her. But it's going to have to be somebody else's bidding because we're kind of up in the nosebleeds tonight. So
you could pass it down,
I suppose you could.
Fish surfing.
I'll be curious to see if I when I'm walking in the concourse tonight, I'm curious to see if I look at somebody and I'm gonna say that looks like a potential catfish tosser. I don't know if there's like a type. I think what Teresa told us, right, is it kind of is based more on the attire that the person is wearing, because you kind of want those cowboy boots and you want jeans that you can kind of tuck it in there. I love how she eloquently kind of described the whole process in depth.
If I didn't know any better, I would think that Teresa Walker had thrown a fish at some point in time. But NFL draft round 1. What stood out to y'all, non-Titans related?
Well, I'll give everybody one guess. Nobody's going to go for the obvious. I'm not exactly sure, and I've told a few friends this. I'm the proverbial I'm always glass half full, and I feel like I'm a pretty good find people in a place of reason type guy. I don't know what in the hell the Atlanta Falcons are doing. And I'm kind of an against the grain guy, but in this case, everybody that was on social media saying the same thing that I was thinking last night, I just had to roll with it because taking Penix at the number 8 selection kind of just makes me scratch. I mean, it really makes me do more than scratch my head, but that was to me the biggest head scratcher by far of last night.
I'll tell you, but we can't talk about the UFL without sending a heartfelt condolence to the career of the Shark Dog, one Scooby Wright III. 3-year starter for the Birmingham Stallions at middle linebacker. Hung his cleats up after a neck injury 2 weeks ago. Has rendered him unable to play at this point, and he is retiring from football. But, man, that guy was the captain, the leader. Matter of fact, had the pick 6 to ice it in the first year in the USFL championship game. So we'll miss you, Shark Dog.
Shark Dog. Okay.
Epic nickname.
No doubt.
It really is. His name is Scooby. What? Why do you even need another nickname?
Why do you need a nickname?
At that point, yeah. What's the nickname?
It's kind of overkill. Right. Scooby the Shark Dog. What the? What?
he must have went to Ole Miss or wanted to.
There you go.
That is an Ole Miss name.
He needed 5 nicknames.
That would make sense.
And 3 different mascots. So.
And the meme started rolling out. How quickly did your brain already gravitate toward thinking about a goal line potential package of Simmons and Sweat, and who catches the first touchdown between those two if they're both out there, or who runs the first touchdown if they're both two out there? I know that had to have at least entered your stream of consciousness at some point over the weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that do with the whole group, and Latham refers to himself as Trench King, and it's a pretty interesting group. There are a lot of personalities, and that's good for business. There's no doubt about it. I don't know what the goal line package is going to look like. I know Jeff looked pretty good when he ran the goal line package last year, and I hope we'll come up with something. I think this offense probably isn't going to need quite as many gimmicks as the one last year did.
Good point.
You certainly
is how many the Minnesota Myth ran on Saturday night at Municipal Auditorium. 74 yards is what they gained on those 38 plays. So the Nashville Cats defense in arena football absolutely smothering the Minnesota Myth. So for their efforts, the entire Nashville Cats defense will get my Monstar Award.
That's pretty monstrous. That's less than 2 yards of play.
That's fewer than 2 yards.
I didn't even know that was. I didn't even know that was possible in the arena league.
Exactly.
In the arena league, exactly. Yeah.
41-0 at one point. So
wow. MTSU
see show up the power play.
Oh,
because it's putrid. Putrid.
So bad. So bad. The beginning of the season, Andrew Burnett kind of joked. We asked him, like, hey, who is in charge of the power play with this new coaching structure and who you've brought on and stuff? And he said, well, I am, unless it sucks, and then it's somebody else's. Well, I don't know who's in charge now, but it sucks. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. It's so bad. And again, in a series like this is a series that's going to be won by a goal or two. You get that power play goal, you know, in the game last night. Again, Nashville walks out, series tied up. It is a completely different playoff series. The power play has been horrible. And, you know, they've talked about we need to skate more. We need to move the puck faster. But you got to execute it. You can't just chat about it. And that's what we've seen, unfortunately.
And Kim,
appreciate you. I take it you're not going to Miami.
Not Miami. I will join the team in Pittsburgh. And, you know, but I want you guys, hey, listen, do not sweat the Houston Astros. They are going to be there. Now, that's something that you can just mark down right now. And if I'm wrong, have me back on here and I will issue an apology to all I may have offended with my remarks. But the Houston Astros will be there at the end.
Wade needed to hear that.
Second minute, hour, and date all noted right there of your proclamation. So it'll be.
You're like a lot of Astros fans. I mean, they're like, oh, yeah, we beat the Rockies. Woo, woo, woo. But there are some very real things about that team. I mean, they're too veteran to continue to struggle with runners in scoring position. The bullpen getting to Josh Hader, if the starting rotation is healthy, they're going to have that together, and it's a really good bullpen. The problem was a lot of times their pitchers were pitching out of their roles because they were behind or something had happened earlier in the game or with the lack of health from the starting rotation. I'm telling you, the Astros will be there.
Mustafa averaged a double-double in 3 years at Coastal before going to what at the time seemed to be greener pastures when he went to TCU. But really, you know, he was at home at Coastal, was a very good player in the Sun Belt, averaged a double-double, and as a matter of fact, in a game in Murfreesboro against Middle, had 13 points and 10 rebounds, and that was, I think, his freshman year. But a young man from Cairo, Egypt, who has really has good skill around the basket. So really kind of I like what I see out of him. And if you look up his tape on YouTube, very good with both hands, very remindful to me of DeAndre Dishman as far as his type. He's a little bit undersized at 6'8", 6'9", but has more moves than a box of X-Lax. I mean, he has the left hand, the right hand, the good feet, the scoop shots, the hook shots. He just knows how to get it in the basket.
You've chuckled Mo here.
Yeah, you got me. You got me. I am.
Since we mentioned it, Chip, I brought up the field, by the way. It's a 21-horse field this weekend. I feel like we got to be compelled to bet on the 16-horse Grand Mo the First.
No doubt about it.
He's 50-1. I mean, we could do some damage. I feel like we're contractually obligated to throw some money on Grand Mo the First.
You know, the Mo we know and love is quick in a small area. Hopefully, Grand Mo will be quick in a mile
in a large area. Yeah,
in a mile and a quarter. So
50-1, we could do this show from a variety of remote locations if we were to come up with some payoff like that.
That's right. And maybe even from the private airliner or something like that. That would be good.
We could not do this show at all.
we could also let Chip host the show next Tuesday.
There you go. So, well, get those bets down.
Well, that just popped up on me. I was just looking at the field here, and it looks like he's the 16. So I at least going to have a couple shekels out this weekend.
There you go. There you go. Good deal.
Martin and his favorite recording artist.
I don't know.
Wade, help her out. He's a huge Gucci man.
Oh, Mark Martin loves rap music.
The clip went viral a couple weeks ago where he professed his love for Gucci Mane and went deep in the weeds. I was impressed. You know, he went deep in the catalog and was shouting out old songs. So Mark Martin, big fan.
He's a complicated man, more complicated than he's ever been given credit for. Like he has just a fascinating outlook on life. I think a lot of people just looked at him like this little Arkansas redneck, but he's actually way more interesting than he's given credit for. So I know that he's talked about other rap artists in the past. I guess I just missed this Gucci Mane thing. I'm kind of interested. I'll have to go back and look it up.
You will have to go back.
It doesn't surprise me in the least. It just doesn't surprise me in the least coming from Mark.
It's a great clip, and so a shout out to producer Mark for bringing that up. Any chance you get to mention Mark Martin and Gucci Mane in the same sentence, you kind of have to.
You would probably be surprised at how many NASCAR drivers are into rap music, maybe more so than country music.
Now, let me ask you this: would we be more surprised, or would the NASCAR fan base be more surprised?
Both. Both. I mean, they're all into country music. Well, I wouldn't say all of them, but there's a large majority that are into country music. But there are equal amount that are into rock, especially rap, especially some of the younger guys.
Well, the thing that threw me for a loop is, love the guy to death. Mark Martin is 65 years old, and so that's just what threw me for a loop. And he mentions Dr. Dre and talks about Snoop a little bit. Okay, I'm on board. But when he just went off deep in the weeds, like I said, on Gucci Mane, that kind of just a little bit of a head scratcher just because of the age gap. But
hey, hold up. Why are we hating on old folks, Wade? All of a sudden,
it's age gap within the realm of NASCAR rap appreciation. How about that?
I mean, I'm just going to say this. I get down with some Snoop and some Dr. Dre. I know nothing about Gucci Mane. I would.
You haven't been hanging out with Mark Martin recently.
Apparently, that's where I'm missing out for sure. I'm old though.
Give that a check whenever you get off air here and let us know what you think, because it's a cool interview, and he, like I said, he knows his stuff. So
it doesn't surprise me, because I had heard that he liked Dre and Snoop and rap music before. Like I had heard him talk about that, so it doesn't surprise me. I just hadn't heard that particular. So I have to. Was it a Dale? Wasn't he on the Dale Jr. download a few weeks ago? Is that what it was?
I forget
remember
where
what it was.
I just saw it on one of the.
I mean, I could look it up,
memes.
but I mean, I thought he was on the Dale Jr. download a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
could have
been. Look that up and report back to us next week.
The positives are so hard to look at the moment for Nashville SC because of how negative they're playing. So it's really hard for people like me who are analyzing the team to go and say, well, they still have injuries and they have that and they have this. They played 9 games in MLS, but they've also played 4 other games in the Champions Cup. So, we've had about 15 games, 13 games to be exact, of Nashville SC soccer, and nothing has indicated that they have improved a whole lot. Now, again, one win changes everything. And you guys know more than anybody that winning solves everything in sports. It stops fights in the stands. I've seen it right in front of me. It stops fights in on the field, and it makes everybody happier. And even for us, the media, I mean, when Nashville SC wins, people are not yelling at me as much, which I like. So I prefer that personally. But they need to get that first win, I think, and they're winless in 5 at the moment. So they really need that first win.
Just win, baby. I'm actually in the Lee Company studios here in Columbia today, going solo. Wade is
in the It City, Nashville, for today's show. It's not as busy up there today as it's going to be tomorrow, Wade, but how's things in Nashville today?
You could say, it's the calm before the storm, right? I've already seen several Preds shirts. I think folks are ready. They got a couple big nights worth of music at Nissan Stadium. It's going to be fun, but Smashville is hopefully going to take care of business tomorrow night.
And you have secured your transportation to Bridgestone for tomorrow night?
I will. Yeah. So I will be working the concerts at Nissan tomorrow night. However,
so you're not going to the, okay.
Sister will be there. Our good friend, former Martin Methodist AD, Jeff Bain, he's got seats close to the ice. There will be some representation. And, Morgan Wallen, it came out today, he waived his court appearance for tomorrow because there was a chance, you could have the show postponed due to jail time. So it looks like he's going to go tomorrow night and tonight and Saturday. So I'll be tuned in. You probably, if the Preds score often enough or late enough, you might be able to hear Bridgestone from over at Nissan tomorrow night.
So Mr. Wallen decided that discretion was the better part of valor then. Is that what you're saying? We're just going to drop back and punt on this one and take our chances later in the process. But Wade, do you think Jeff will be familiar with, be responsible for one of the catfish that hits the ice tomorrow night?
I will tell you this. Don't put it past him. Jeff has ridden the Zamboni during a playoff game. And Jeff and I, years ago, we went to a thriller, a 3-overtime Preds game versus the Sharks. So he's got some tricks up his sleeve. The early line, if you're going to put a Vegas line on it, early line would say he's not going to be a catfish thrower, but do not put anything past that man.
Well, when you said he was going to be close to the ice, it just made me think, maybe he could pull something off.
Now that you say that, I'm going to drop a text and just plant the seed and see if he's close enough that he could even attempt such a feat, because he's wily enough that he may give it a go.
There you go.
Andrew, I got to ask you, we're kind of talking about shocking situations here with the A's a little bit. What's kind of shocking more to you, the fact that there won't be baseball in the future in Oakland, or the fact that USC is now going to be a member of the Big Ten? They both kind of seem a little unusual to me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I would say the latter. I was sort of mentally and emotionally prepared for the team to leave eventually, just after years of following media reports. But the USC to the Big Ten is a bit odd to me. I understand that's a finance-driven decision for football revenue, and USC and UCLA are the highest grossing teams in the pack. But it's strange to me whenever college conferences have their traditional geographies broken up. And I get it from the football side, but I look at it from the player's perspective. And I remember when, it's a serious academic school, and I took my studies seriously, and you're flying across the country for a non-conference series against UNC from Los Angeles. And that was great fun. And I love those experiences, but these kids are going to be doing it every single week. And that's not easy travel to get from, LA to West Lafayette, Indiana, or Evanston, Indiana. Those are long flights and then long bus rides. And these kids are in school. These kids are trying to stay up on their studies. And to a point, they're going to be missing at least 1 or 2 days a week, every one or 2 days of class every single week during the season. And that's going to be some bad travel. So I feel for the non-football sports that are going to get lumped in with that. But who knows? Maybe something fantastic comes of it. But to me, it does seem a bit odd, and just kind of have to take it as it comes, I guess.
It's interesting that it all kind of unfolds like this, because we always talk about USC, UCLA traveling east and playing football games in November in the snow. But now I'm visualizing, what about the Michigan baseball players? Hey, you get to go out to USC for the weekend. That seems not a bad situation, I suppose.
No, and maybe it provides some sort of a recruiting advantage to the California schools. If you got a really talented Michigan kid and they say, hey, you're at least going to get to play at home or close to home once or twice a year, Yeah, it'll be nice for those schools. And the Big Ten is no slouch in terms of baseball. They've gotten a lot stronger, whether it's Michigan or Indiana, Iowa. But yeah, it's strange when you start thinking about, instead of playing Stanford, Cal, or Arizona State, locking horns with Michigan, Michigan State, and Purdue, good programs, but just historically not matchups you envision for USC and UCLA.
You love to be coming out of the bullpen for USC in Happy Valley, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's
warming up takes on a whole different.
Yeah. It used to be you'd have one or two bad draws every spring when you were at USC, and it was if you had to go to Pullman, Washington in March or April, and you just kind of mentally prepare for it. But I don't know, maybe it'll make the kids tougher. They'll get used to it. But yeah, being a starting pitcher in cold weather is no problem. Being a reliever in cold weather, that's tough. That's tough.
There we go. Andrew Triggs, the new baseball coach at Montgomery Bell Academy, joining us here on Coach's Corner on Main Street Sports today. Andrew, appreciate your time, man. And tell Mike I said hey, and good luck to y'all the rest of this spring before you take it over.
I will. Thank you so much, and go Big Red.
All righty. The Golf Club of Tennessee. And if you're interested in playing with some NCAA and some local college basketball coaches, check that out. I think there's a website. Hang on. It's coachesversuscancertn.com. Pretty straightforward. Check it out.
Hey, real quick on that too. I don't know if he's playing, but I'm just going to tell everybody, if former Austin Peay coach Dave Luce is at that tournament,
get in his foursome.
Get in that foursome, especially if there's any sort of bragging rights or money to be had, because I've got it on great authority that guy, the legend himself, Dave Luce, will absolutely smoke you. He'll do it from the senior tees, but he will smoke you on the golf course. That's just what I've heard around the water coolers over the years.
Well, since he retired, he's probably had some time to work on his game a little bit, so that I can see how that could be the case. One final note here before we get out of here. Apparently, Tyler Boyd, Cincinnati Bengals receiver, is meeting with the Tennessee Titans on a free agent visit. So,
Mo, I can tell you, I was at St. Thomas earlier, picking up some stuff for the concert tonight. He was in the building, and he is. It'll be interesting. We're talking Tyler Boyd, the football player, because we had Belair on the show yesterday. Not talking about the Nashville Soccer Club player. We talking about the wide receiver, and the Titans still making moves like we've discussed, even though the draft is now concluded.
Well, I guess this is the time to make them. Maybe they didn't get all the receivers that they felt like they wanted or needed in the draft. Didn't address that position as well as they would have liked. Maybe they still got some questions about Treylon Burks. So Tyler Boyd would certainly help address that. So,
and they were talking about a Bengals receiver all off season. Maybe just not Tyler Boyd. So he says, "Hey, I can play some ball. Let me get in there."
There we go.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
On a gold mine in terms of jersey sales, if nothing else. There's probably fans that have made Brewers jerseys and they just wanted to save a couple extra bucks and they left the S off on purpose. So you may be entitled even to some royalties or back pay at that point, right?
That's pretty funny, man. So if you guys go look on my Instagram, there's a photo from Photo Day, and I'll tell you guys, it was totally on accident, but I tell some people it was on purpose. So the way that the Brewers jersey is, the S was kind of, I think it was my left armpit, and it was tucked away. So it just said
Brewer.
Yeah, and so everybody was getting a good laugh at that. But, yeah, man, baseball, it's.
And he says, oh, yeah, I bet on that horse. And we're like, yeah, right. And he pulls the ticket out of his pocket. So out of a group of like 10 of us, one guy had I'll have another, and it was the classic story, I just liked the name. He said, well, I was having a few that day, so I figured, why not? I'll have another.
I'll have another. There you go. I went once, was on the infield, did not see the race, but it was a heck of an atmosphere. And I think it's something that if you are remotely a sports fan, I think it's something to go to one time just to say that you've been. And then maybe you could actually get a seat and watch the race. But it's an amazing atmosphere. Mint juleps are overrated, though.
Yeah, I know that's kind of become a thing on the internet about how overrated they are. But I got no other opinion other than to pile on. They are extremely overrated.
Yeah, I mean, why would you ruin bourbon like that?
That was. I will tell you this, I got to go to the Derby one year in 2012, and it was unforgettable because we're all standing around, and I'll have another is the horse that ends up winning. He was a long shot, and all of us are ripping our tickets up after a day of beverages, if you will.
Beverages.
And after a long night of beverages the night before. That's the crazy thing too, is these bars stay open till like 5 a.m. On Derby weekend. So we were struggling, but I'll never forget. We had one friend and he says, oh yeah, I bet on that horse. And we're like, yeah, right. And he pulls the ticket out of his pocket. So out of a group of like 10 of us, one guy had, I'll have another. And it was the classic story, I just liked the name. He said, well, was having a few that day, so I figured, why not? I'll have another.
I'll have another. There you go. I went once, was on the infield, did not see the race, but it was a heck of an atmosphere. And I think it's something that if you are remotely a sports fan, I think it's something to go to one time just to say that you've been, and then maybe you could actually get a seat and watch the race. But it's an amazing atmosphere. Mint juleps are overrated though.
Yeah, I know that's kind of become a thing on the internet about how overrated they are, but I got no other opinion other than to pile on. They are extremely overrated.
Yeah, I mean, why would you ruin bourbon like that?
That was a long day. The other great thing, even though I didn't win, you know how this goes too. When you got your buddies and they win, you kind of win by proxy, if you know what I mean. So dinner was a little lighter on my pocketbook. A little freebie for dinner that night, which was
nice. Okay, that's good. It's good to have friends that remember their friends. So yeah, that's awesome.
And I don't know that he necessarily remembered so much as there was 9 of us and 1 of him, and we kind of reminded him, so to speak. And I want to say that was the night that Manny Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather, and it was a huge. I think maybe that's what we ended up doing. We said, hey, we'll get some pizzas and we'll get the fight. And, you got to chip in for one of those two more than us. And so we'll let you pick which one of the two it is.
That's awesome.
Praise, because, man, they played their tails off in that series. But it kind of goes to show, and I listened to a podcast earlier this week, and now the question is going to be, is kind of that super team era, is that dead? Can you just really go out and get 3 guys and then trot out 2 vagabond starters and then 2 or 3 journeyman bench players and win these days? It doesn't look like that might be the case anymore.
Yeah. Part of the Lakers' issues, I think, from a distance, because again, I don't watch a whole lot of NBA. I talk to a lot of people that do, though, and one of them is a good friend of mine, Pernell Knox, the athletics director at Columbia Academy. Huge.
Who's his team, by the way? Who's his team, by the way?
Well, the Lakers.
Okay. All right.
and they've got some roster management to do, obviously, not just with whether LeBron. So,
and watching those games, I'm telling you, at no point. Denver was down double digits in I believe 4 out of those 5. At no point did you think, 10 points, Denver's cooked. You're thinking, oh yeah, they're coming back. But at what point do they come back? And on the other side, when Denver goes up 6 points, you're thinking this is over.
They're done.
And in some respects, you can make yes, they played great, and I will give LeBron and AD praise because, man, they played their tails off in that series. But it kind of goes to show, and I listened to a podcast earlier this week, and now the question is going to be, is kind of that super team era, is that dead? Can you just really go out and get 3 guys and then trot out 2 vagabond starters and then 2 or 3 journeyman bench players and win these days? It doesn't look like that might be the case anymore.
Yeah. Part of the Lakers' issues, I think, from a distance, because again, I don't watch a whole lot of NBA. I talk to a lot of people that do, though, and one of them is a good friend of mine, Pernell Knox, the athletics director at Columbia Academy. Huge.
Who's his team, by the way? Who's his team, by the way?
Well, the Lakers.
Okay. All right.
and they've got some roster management to do, obviously, not just with whether LeBron is coming back or not. But is Austin Reeves really a guy that you can have in as prominent a position as he is on that team and be successful?
Conventional wisdom would say no. I don't like the guy in the sense that I don't like a lot of guys that play against the Grizzlies. I'll put it to you that way. But he certainly has punched above his weight, and he's kind of quietly carved out a pretty solid little role. But at the end of the day, I see where you're going with this. Is that a guy that you can for sure rely on?
Count on, yes.
And they thought they had that with Russell as well. And D'Angelo Russell was, we gave Klay Thompson a lot of guff for the way he went out in his Warriors final game potentially a couple weeks ago, and Russell had some absolute clunkers in the series as well, and so that they got a lot of roster. That's the thing, right? When you assemble the super team, it sounds simple on paper. These two guys are so good they can carry us, and we can just almost trot out anybody. But we're really kind of seeing that it's not quite that easy anymore.
It's clearly not. Yeah.
But also, and I will give LeBron a little more credit on this too, because he made it look so easy those years in Miami. Obviously, it took them a year or two to gel and to kind of get where they were. But you're talking about him and Bosh and D Wade. You know, I mean, they made it look easier and more successful, I think, than it really, truly, honestly is in the grand scheme of things. And now teams are trying to mimic that, and we're seeing what's happening. Not quite as much success.
As you mentioned, there will be some coach availability, but is there anybody other than J.C. Latham that you are wanting to get eyes on in particular?
T'Vondre Sweat. I mean, I think that pick, because it's so controversial, a lot of people think it's a reach. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. I think he would have been a guy who would have won the second round. Yes, he had the issue with the driving under the influence, which is a very serious thing. I also believe, from what I've been told, that he is very contrite about that. And I think he will, and from what I've been told, the Titans will make sure that that type of thing does not happen again. Okay. They will have protocols in place also to help him maintain his weight, which I will never forget. He said to me at the combine, he was like, "Hey, I'm one of those guys who I can't take a week off of working out. I can't be off my feet for a week. Because bad things happen. Bad things for me means gaining 20, 30 pounds." And I said, "Hey, young man, I feel you." I was like, I am empathetic to you, sir. I understand what that life is like. And I was like, hey, man, be glad you're only in your 20s. It don't get no better as you get older. But
doesn't get any easier, huh?
It doesn't get any easier. I'll tell you that. Trust me. Look at me. I can tell you, it don't get no easier.
Goal session tonight with one Bradley Lambert to talk about Spring Fling HQ that will be happening.
Now let me ask you this: when you have a skull session with Bradley Lambert, are you
more
really
listening
having
than
a
talking?
Okay. That's what I wanted to clarify right there. Yeah,
that's right.
He's kind of telling you what's what, and you're nodding, kind of like the coaches were at Coaches versus
That's
Cancer.
right.
Yeah,
that's right. But I think he said he's got a couple of new little wrinkles we're going to throw in this year. So looking forward to finding out about all that. And so, next week we can talk a little bit more about that. I'll have a little more info. So that'll be fun to talk about. And the Spring Fling this year.
You said 90-year-old
Yes.
Brownie King.
90-year-old. Mm-hmm. The paint scheme is in his honor.
That's
he ran on the beaches. He ran with Lee and Richard Petty. He ran with a lot of guys that aren't still with us anymore. I mean, he's got great stories about running on the beaches and running at different tracks and a ton of history.
It's hard to imagine, for me, running races on the beaches, but that's I've seen pictures of it and that kind of thing, and
he tells stories of because the sand and the salt water is so bad, him and his convertible hanging out the side, looking out the side rather than looking through the windshield because he couldn't see because the windshield was catching so much debris.
that sounds safe.
Oh, well, I mean, they were absolutely nothing that they did back then was safe. I mean, they're wearing leather helmets and open face, and jeans and, garage overalls. I mean, and wingtip shoes. I mean, the sports come a long way from back in the day and the things that they used to do when they drove cars. I mean,
Marion Angus Combs. Ignore that second O.
That's exactly right.
There's only, you see two O's in her last name, but you only pronounce one of them, Marion Angus Combs. So we've addressed that. Now we're going to address this. The Dodgers kicked our butts this weekend, Marion. We all saw it, so there's really not a whole lot of need to talk about it. But if you want to,
I'm more than happy to.
we can, but I mean, it doesn't change anything. It's 3 games in May. I'm not going to tell you the same. I'm not going to tell you the same thing won't happen in October. I'm not. But
I mean,
it's
I was
3 games in May.
expecting it to be a lot closer, Mo.
Well, you know, that 4-3 and 11 on Friday night certainly
So
could have
does my
gone
dog.
either way. Yeah, your dog did too. It's interesting because obviously there's been a lot of talk about the SEC expanding to 16 teams for next year, and most of it has revolved around football. Does Tennessee need to win this thing before Texas and Oklahoma get it?
Absolutely. Texas is the best team in the country. Oklahoma is right there with them on a good day. I don't know how Oklahoma will be next year, but Texas is the best team in the country. And if I'm looking at the SEC next year, I kind of make the best team in it right now. Tennessee is the 3rd best team
Behind Texas and Oklahoma.
behind Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, it kind of puts a exclamation point on the fact, and we've discussed other sports, obviously volleyball and a few others sometimes slip off your radar, but adding those 2 programs is going to be massive, and softball, of course, is going to be something that if you haven't been paying attention to those 2 teams for whatever reason, when you finally start tuning into SEC play next year, it seems like a lot of folks are going to be in for a huge surprise.
Nashville Super Speedway.
That's right, guitars and fast cars right here in Music City. This summer, NASCAR is back at the Nashville Super Speedway. Get your tickets now to watch your favorite driver take on the 1.33 miles of concrete chaos. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to lock in your spot June 28th through the 30th for the Ally 400 race weekend.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
The Wild Horse horses are coming to Franklin. The Mustang Heritage Spectacular. 4 days of celebrity freestyle, Liberty training, trick riding, and extreme Mustang makeover. Plus the shopping. Over 100 vendor spaces with clothing, food, home goods, and things you can't find anywhere else. All that and celebrity signings at a music stage too. June 20th through 23rd at Williamson County Ag Expo Park. Don't miss a moment with a weekend pass. MustangHeritageFoundation.org for tickets.
Big Bertha and this kind of unique invention that's prevalent now at Titans practices.
Yeah, this Big Bertha is not a golf driver. It's a blocking sled, and one of them is named Bertha, and the other one's named Olga. I think it is that Bill Callahan had a hand in inventing this, at least in the concept of it, and it's made to, I guess, teach the offensive lineman to block with a certain technique using this sled, because the darn thing won't move unless you do your technique exactly right and how you're supposed to move off the ball and block your man and gain your leverage. You see J.C. Latham right there on that thing, and it's certainly different looking than, you know, most of the blocking sleds that you see at your local high school or even college fields. And Bill Callahan has used this, and I think that's just one of the tricks of the trade that he kind of has that has allowed him to get a lot of mileage out of a lot of offensive linemen, including some guys maybe who were lesser heralded, certainly, than J.C. Latham. And we'll see if he can work some of that magic with the likes of Nicholas Petit-Ferrer and Jalen Duncan and Dylan Radins.
Mr. Walters,
I'm
I
just glad
like
to see Wade Neely with a shirt back on.
Come on, man.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But
we got some explaining to do. We don't want to have folks lingering.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead and clean it up then. Clear it up. What's up?
Chip and I are Instagram friends, and we went out for a run Sunday on the Las Vegas Strip, and I assume that's the picture in reference to.
I did. That's what I saw.
I
saw you were in Vegas near the Vegas sign, weren't you?
Yep, and that was a little bit further of a run than I intended, so that's how far down we were. So that kind of puts things into perspective, and that also explains why I needed the shirt off more as a towel than anything, because it was topping 90 degrees for the first time this year. They said out there.
Was it a dry heat?
You know, it's funny. Everybody says that, and I've been there a bunch of times, and I usually go in the summer, and some years it feels like a real dry heat. Some years it feels awful, but at the end of the day, Chip, it's 105 degrees is 105 degrees no matter where you're at.
I know, and I've got a trip in July out there, so it'll be I'll be prepared for hotness. Dry, wet, doesn't matter. It's gonna be hot.
Chip, do us a favor.
Keep my shirt on,
please.
There we go.
But not everybody can have a tux on, as you've got as one of your pictures on social media from the Raiders Choice Awards from a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, you know, not everybody can be the dapper Blue Raider voice. You know, what I like about our segments with Chip is that he likes to make sure that we're prepared. And so he'll send along some talking points, and I will try to get us through those as best we can. But what he doesn't know is more often than not, we're on about the same page. But keep sending them.
I know you sent me, what was it, last week, where it was kind of uncanny that the bullet points I sent you are almost exactly what you had on your rundown.
Great minds think alike, but at the same time, I'd rather have it twice than none. I will give you our most annoying, most obnoxious sounds, and I will preface this by
there we go.
Nicely done. I will preface this by saying that all of these aren't necessarily annoying to me, but the feedback that I've gotten, they're annoying to a large majority of folks. Now, I'll let you know which ones are which as we go. But Wade, go ahead with your number one. Now, let me ask you before we go: are cicadas the gold standard, or are they on your list?
Yeah, cicadas got to be. And in a weird way, I find them semi-soothing at times.
I don't have a problem with them, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of, I kind of chuckle when I hear folks go on about how bothersome they are. They don't bother me.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Maybe because we spend so much time outside this time of year, we just kind of get inured to it.
Yeah, they are definitely here for at least a little while longer. Number one on my list. This is a shout out just to producer Mark. But I mean, Jim Carrey in the movie Dumb and Dumber says literally, "Do you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?" And then he gives you the and so there's no need to bring up sound effects for all these, I don't think, by any stretch. But if you know what I'm talking about, producer Mark, I'm sure will love that one. So I wanted to give him some props and give me Jim Carrey with Dumb and Dumber kind of as my first choice there.
IYKYK, huh? If you know, you know. My number one with a bullet, and I'm kind of showing my age a little bit here, probably because I'm not sure how many chalkboards there still are, but nails on a chalkboard are far and away the most annoying sound there is to me.
That's my thing is you have to almost actively do that though. So if you're doing the nails on the chalkboard, it's annoying. So that makes it even more frustrating at that
makes it obnoxious because you're trying to do it. Yeah. All right. Number two, Wade.
Luckily this did not happen to me, but it has happened in the years past. How about babies crying? I love, no disrespect to mamas and daddies, but babies crying in places, whether it's a movie theater, whether it's on an airplane, church, or any sort of, intimate gathering. When you got babies crying, again, I know it's part of it, and I don't mean any disrespect, but man, the babies crying will kill a mood in a heartbeat.
Parents, direct that was Wade Neely.
Give me the smoke, I guess, because I don't
like all of it. Yeah. I will tell you, I have been in indoor facilities that ran blowers, cleaning up the seating areas, following events, and
that is annoying.
That's annoying. Yeah, that's my number two. Number three,
picture this, Mo. You're at a nice hotel. You've had a long traveling day. You're in downtown Nashville or wherever. You're just ready to get some sleep, and you wake up the next morning only to find out there's construction going on, either in the hotel or at the building right beside you. And construction, especially when you're staying at a place, construction noises always really get on my nerves. I find them extremely annoying.
Wade, we've been in situations, again, at various events, that kind of thing, where folks are struggling with their sound system, and you get that microphone feedback screech at the most inopportune moment. Yeah. Microphone feedback, speaker feedback. Yeah. It's awful.
Shout out to Chris Yao, because we had some of that going on at the Main Street Awards last week, and luckily he rectified the situation. Otherwise, it was going to make for a really long and annoying award show, but he fixed it. So props to Yao.
Number four.
Next up on my list, what about a knife or a fork on a plate? If somebody's cutting something and you cut too deep, I've got some family members, when we get together for Thanksgiving, it's almost like they do it on purpose. And I'm just like, hey, come on with that. The screeching sound of a knife or a fork on a plate is, it gives me shivers almost.
It goes from annoying to obnoxious at that point. My number four is, your smoke alarm in your house when the battery's getting ready to go and it just beeps incessantly. That noise. That's annoying.
That happened to me not too long ago, and I got up. It was 10 o'clock at night, and I got up and changed the battery on the spot because I was not about to deal with that.
And it's always at night.
Yeah.
Typically late. Yeah. Your fifth and final pick?
Fifth and final, there are a few individuals that I probably could shout out, but I guess I better not. I don't know if I necessarily want that amount of smoke, but a car alarm. Very helpful when you're doing it once or twice to try and locate your car. But when your car alarm or a car alarm is going off in a parking lot, or you're at a ball game, or you're doing something and it just continues, I hate that.
Absolutely. You have cats. I have cats. There is no sound worse than when your cats are throwing up, and partly because you know that they're doing something that you're going to have to clean up. But yeah, that's my number 5.
We are done with our NASCAR obligations with Heather Williams of WCYB out of Johnson City. And now we need to prepare to pick our bones with Most State graduate Heather Williams.
What I do?
Well,
I just graduated from there.
Well, your
Well,
school,
that's too bad.
your school is encroaching on our territory now, as it was announced earlier this week. Well, I guess late last week, actually, it was announced that Missouri State, formerly Southwest Missouri State, will be joining Conference USA, where Jacksonville State
Guess we gotta get
and
a
Middle
Most
Tennessee
State-
State also reside. So, yeah.
Yeah,
let
but
the trash-
I wouldn't be that worried about anything other than women's basketball. Have you seen the history of my school lately? Recently?
Let me just tell you this. We're not worried about you in women's basketball either.
No, yeah, he's not. I got nothing.
I mean, let me ask you a question, Mo. How many Final Fours has your women's basketball team been to?
Wow.
Well,
Because
she does
mine's
have
been to
Jack-
2.
She does have Jackie Styles.
Yeah.
But we did go without Jackie Styles. We've been to 2.
The first one was before Jackie Styles, right?
It was my freshman year, 92. And then the second one was Jackie Styles.
Yeah. So, okay. All right.
Object. Last night, Ron Washington called for a squeeze play while Luis Guillorme was in the box. Guillorme did not get the bunt down. Ball may or may not have been outside. It was in the other batter's box, but it may or may not have been outside. I mean, look at this picture. The placement of the ball. I don't really know what you want Guillorme to do there. I mean, the ball is all the way in the other batter's box. I mean, I don't know. But Ron Washington
wanted him to do something, huh?
He wanted him to get it down. He said in the postgame presser, he didn't do the job. It wasn't anything I did wrong. He didn't do the job. He also said, Ron Washington said, he was throwing the ball in the strike zone. And I mean, I love Wash, but Jojo Romero had walked the previous 2 batters and was all over the place. Anyway, so they lose 7-6 to the Cardinals because that's what the Angels do is lose by 1 run.
So this was a suicide squeeze. And
Yeah.
the guy was coming.
Yeah.
And he was a dead
It was
duck.
it was bases are loaded, bottom of the 8th, 1 out, and
Bases are loaded, 1 out.
yeah, suicide squeeze. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I love Wash, but I'm not sure I'm squeezing there.
All I'm saying is, I mean, at this point, there's only one thing the Angels should do, and that's fire Ron Washington. Fire Ron Washington.
Fire
You gotta
Ron
fire him.
Washington now.
You got to fire him.
Because it's easier to fire 1 than 26. Yes, fire Ron Washington now because I got a spot for you.
Because the Braves will pack his locker, pay for his flight. Come on home, baby.
Come on. What is that? Where's that Austin Powers mean?
Yeah, and bring EY with you because apparently we need it because our first base coaching is not great right now.
Ronald Acuna needs him badly. Yeah.
It's going to be a fantastic season to tune into. There's no doubt about it. And it has, how do I want to say this? It's going to be an exciting season to watch from start to finish, every team. It has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark, even though it has everything to do with Caitlin Clark.
Right.
Meaning I can give you storylines in just about every city why it's a fantastic time to watch WNBA.
I think you're absolutely right. Willie G. Ramirez joining us from Vegas, talking a little WNBA. And Willie, we certainly appreciate your insight and look forward to visiting with you again soon and as this season progresses, because again, it's going to be fun to keep an eye on. And be sure, if you are a WNBA fan, or if you're not, you should be, but be sure and check out WGRamirez.com. And it's no shameful plug, man. We are glad to help get that out any way we can as well. So
all right, guys,
thank you for joining us. Absolutely.
And,
we'll catch up with you.
Yeah, let me know. I'll be, you know how to reach me, and looking forward to the season and joining you guys next time you're ready.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Bluegrass Auction Associates is hosting another real estate auction Saturday, June 8th at 10 a.m. in the beautiful Hickory Woods subdivision. This spacious estate offers numerous amenities perfect for the homeowner or investor. Conveniently located in Davidson County, Tennessee at 221 Wild Grove Court. This is the sale you don't want to miss. Join Bluegrass and bid with confidence Saturday, June 8th at 10 a.m.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Richie, tell us about some of the other guys that, I mean, you mentioned Jackson Lee, and again, 13 strikeouts yesterday, and to look at him, he does not necessarily look overpowering. And, you know, you guys, apparently there is a tradition where y'all are taking a picture after each of your postseason games. And when other teams see those pictures, I imagine they kind of look, and if they don't know, it's like, who's good? Because there's no Kavares Tears on this team. You know, there's nobody that just you look at him and you say, man, that dude's a stud. And no disrespect meant. It's just nobody necessarily jumps out at you in terms of the looks test.
Who walks off the first? Who's the first person off the bus to intimidate folks? That's the question. you got to stack three of them together.
Pernell Knox. That's good.
Well, can't have a golf segment without saying the name Tiger Woods, +1 on the day.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for coming out, Tiger. I mean,
appreciate you selling a few tickets.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what he is now. It's awesome to have him there. It's awesome that he's now giving back so much. But the opportunity for Tiger to win another major championship is going to be like literally the 13th moon of Jupiter and the 13th ring of Saturn lining up, because there's just no way that a part-time golfer at 48 with a broken down body can beat these young guys that are absolutely fueled by Tiger's greatness from the past. I just don't see it. I know it would be the greatest story in the history of the game, but I just don't see it.
The greatest story since he won his last major.
Yeah, and you could argue that that's maybe the greatest story in sports history. And if it's not, it is easily in the top 10. And if he would come back and win another one, my goodness. I mean, it's so hard to imagine that somebody could have two of those moments. But if there is anybody that could, you'd like to think it'd be Tiger.
And speaking of schedules, you're about to talk about the WNBA. What are they doing? Like
fumbling the bag.
How badly can you fumble the bag on this? I mean, you've got two games and both of them start at the same time. This is insane. This is like the UFL. The UFL did the same thing with what are we doing? We have two games and we can't start them 2 hours apart in different time zones.
Fumbling the bag.
Mind-blowing.
Which Maurice Patton joined to my left by my left, you're right, Chris Yao.
Oh man, Jose Canseco learned that the hard way the other day on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, but he said, "Good morning to everybody except the guy on my left," and it was Alex Rodriguez, except it was our left, and his left was some random guy in a green shirt, and everybody was wondering what the guy in the green shirt had done.
What's this guy done?
Yeah, wow. It was great.
I did not see that, but that sounds very Jose Canseco-ish. I mean,
it was.
Anybody that can have a baseball hit off their head and bounce over the fence for a home run, you never know what to expect out of. So,
man,
yeah,
but that was great. These teams who are in, championship or go home, and that's a big problem in college sports too with a lot of fans. Is it's championship or bust for everybody,
right.
And 10-win football seasons don't mean anything anymore, or making the Final Four doesn't mean anything anymore, and now apparently not winning the finals doesn't mean anything anymore. Used to getting to the conference finals meant you were a really good basketball team and an extension. Now it might mean you get fired. And how ridiculous is that?
Pretty darn.
Sorry. Trash can juice.
Milwaukee will be without Antetokounmpo, but not the good one.
Yeah.
The Nassas apparently tore an Achilles, and I'm sure that the Bucks have.
That is a tough injury for a Grecian. That's all I'm saying. That's the worst. Does it get worse? That's all I'm saying.
Wow. This article on CBS Sports, Bucks forward Thanasis Antetokounmpo, older brother of Giannis, suffers torn Achilles tendon per report. Subhead: Thanasis has been a staple in Milwaukee sideline celebrations for 5 seasons.
Oh man.
And guys, we're going to have a 2-night NBA draft in June.
2 nights. They broke up the first and second rounds over 2 nights because, gosh, we need to make it go longer for trades that aren't official until a certain time in July. So yeah, this is going to be a fun draft.
2 rounds, 2 nights.
Yep.
And the funny thing is the NBA draft, the picks come in quicker. So it goes much faster than the NFL draft. So I don't know why, you bump it to 2 nights like that.
Well, lots of filler talk, lots of highlight talk, lots of, analyzation and more talking heads, more ad sales is probably
more money
the biggest
is at the end of the crux of the issue, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Caleb Giroux of the Daily Beacon, the student newspaper at the University of Tennessee. Before we get into UT baseball, Caleb, you posted a picture last week, some point on Twitter, your name on some kind of a plaque. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so at our end of year banquet, I guess I did enough to win an award that I was a big supporter of student media, did a little bit of everything. So now, God forbid, everybody who walks in has to see my name on the wall at the entrance of our office. So join the likes of a lot of student media greats who have gone on to do great things after the Daily Beacon. So it's kind of cool, though, seeing your name on the wall every day.
No pressure, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, Caleb. You were in Vegas this past weekend and you ran across a pretty recognizable individual.
Yes. Yeah. There's he's recognizable. For some reason, if folks don't know, that is the Raiders and Las Vegas Aces, which more on that in a second, owner Mark Davis. And his haircut is the topic of many points of discussion over the years.
Most points of discussion over
so
much
so. And the quick story goes is that my girlfriend goes to this event every year. She saw me, she saw him last year and she said, "Hey, I think there's some famous sports guy there or at this event. I don't know who he is though." And I said, "What does he look like?" And she said, "Well, he has an interesting haircut." And I said, "That's Mark Davis." And she Googled him and she said, "You're absolutely right." I said, "Yeah, that's all you needed to say." So once you see it, it actually looked better in person than I think he gets credit for on the internet. I don't know if he dolled it up for the event, but he was still looking good. And we did talk briefly. Told him I was a big Aces fan. I love our girl, Alicia Clark. And I kid you not, he looked at me and without even missing a beat, he said, "Back-to-back world champs, baby. Let's get another one this year." So we opened this show with arena football right in your wheelhouse. We get to close this show with NASCAR, which is also right in your wheelhouse. Producer Mark's got a clip. It wouldn't be NASCAR without a little fisticuffs, and we got one for the ages.
If you did the All-Star race too, like this wasn't even like a real race. I mean, $1 million was on the line. But geez, let's roll the clip. Roll that beautiful beam footage. All right, so you've got Kyle Busch here in the Lenovo black and orange, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who Kyle wrecked earlier, and Stenhouse is very upset, as you can see. You want to dance, old man?
And this is muted for a reason, by the way.
Yeah, we can't play over the air what they're saying. Trust us. There it goes.
So Stenhouse swings first.
All right.
And so now they're kind of separated. You're thinking we're done here. Busch is getting ready to take a couple more swings at somebody.
Now that old man was ready to dance.
But wait a second.
Wait a minute. Who's that guy?
There's bodies that are wide.
Who is that guy?
All right. So the wild thing is obviously a NASCAR brawl always gets media attention. But that massive guy that came in right at the end of the segment, and I did like a triple take last night because when it said Busch was involved, that is Linville native and former Richland Raiders standout Justin White, graduated maybe 99, maybe 2000 friend of the show, Justin White, absolutely moving folks. And this is a guy that was a football and basketball standout. He famously broke the goal at Richland, Shaquille O'Neal style, one year while he was there. And so as this clip gets populated last night, I'm doing like a triple take, but also I see on social media some comments coming in there saying, who is this dude and what is he doing? And lo and behold, it's Justin White from good old Linville.
Throwing them around like they were tired.
Like they were, yeah, just literally just tossing people. We'll catch up with you soon. Main Street Sports Today, presented as always by TOA of Columbia. We'll